Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Hope everyone's having a good Friday out there today. We've got a very heavy story to start with. Lots of content to get to today. Caitlin Bristow is back from her social media hiatus of 8 days. We'll have that story. Rachel Lindsay decided not to attend Charity's Men Tell All episode. We'll have that story. Also, Ari and Lauren prepare the goods for their Maui trip. We'll have that story. But first, an ex-Bachelor producer, or maybe a current Bachelor producer, we're going to find out through this video, is called out by the ex. The ex also was a Bachelor producer, and she's got a trigger warning for some horrifying things she says her ex did, and she just found out. People are wondering why this isn't a bigger story. I think it broke last night. It's just getting some heat. It's got 100,000+ views on TikTok. We're going to get into the story in a second, so hold off for that. It's fascinating and horrifying, and we're going to play her full video. Follow me on Instagram for stand-up show updates. Last night was my Huntington Beach show, which was a ton of fun. Thank you to all the people that came out to the show. You guys were great. Yesterday, I recorded my next episode of Driving with Dave, which I'm going to air tomorrow. Here is the reveal of who the guest is. You can see there I am cleaning off the lenses, and then there I am cleaning off the scrubs. Brian Abasolo right there. It was a interesting conversation. It'll probably make some news, maybe some controversy from some of the topics we discussed. We do discuss his, of course, marriage to Rachel, their long distance, of course, Rachel Lindsay, that is, and some chiropractor stuff. So I pushed back on certain beliefs I had, not just on chiropractic, but Western medicine, and we had a very interesting conversation. You're going to really enjoy that. That'll be tomorrow on the Dave Neal Show. And again, thanks for, and there's a photo of me and Brian, and thanks to Tino for coming to the show last night. I'll have more information about my conversation with Tino on today's Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. Everything I'm going to say about my conversation with Tino, I can't share publicly yet because he's still not allowed to do any podcasts. He's going to do Driving with Dave next month. I'm telling you, he's finally starting to share his story, and it's going to be fascinating. I'll talk about that a little bit on today's Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal, and we'll touch on it in today's afternoon Bachelor Rush Hour podcast. I know that's a lot to get through, but let's get to this story. And again, don't forget teacher's wish list, link below. You can comment on that. We'll feature that in the next video. But if you want to donate to that, you can as well. Let's get to it. Trigger warning. She's going to talk about DV. They call that D-violence. I don't even say the words anymore because YouTube gets so weird with it. But if anyone is triggered by that conversation, this is not going to be the video for you. Let's just listen to what she has to say. I'm going to play it in its entirety. It's 7 minutes long. And then we'll talk about it.
Good way to do it. Where I've been for the last 5 days, I can't believe I'm doing this again. You guys know I'm bad at stuff like this. And just to preface, this is the most disgusting thing on the planet, and I don't even want to talk about it, but I feel like it has to be talked about because it's not okay. So if you follow my TikTok, you know that I just got out of a relationship with my ex-boyfriend, and we still share a lease, and so we've been seeing each other casually here and there. Thursday night, I've been getting a lot of prank calls and text messages over the past few months. I don't know if it's connected or not, but a new number messaged me Thursday. I think actually it was Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon, and told me really distasteful things about my ex-boyfriend that I really didn't want to hear. And if you've been following for a while, you know we used to work on The Bachelor together. So I'll let you fill in the blanks on what some of those things might be. I was disgusted and horrified, and I confronted him about it, and I said really horrible and mean things to him about it, and he was really regretful and sorry. Then, I'm in a few group chats with girls who were involved in things that he did and who came forward and told me, and other girls I talked to after I heard stories and verified that they were true. And so one big story, this is not big compared to what I found later, but the big thing that escalated everything was I found out, because couple of the girls were like, Alana, when did you stop liking us? And I said, when you flashed him and tried to have a threesome with him. And they said that never happened. And they called me and they told me the whole story. And they were like, I 100% believe them. I have so much respect for these women. And I 100% believe every word they say and don't believe anything he says. So that just, to me, says, holy shit, because he told me that story 2 years ago. And he told it in such detail and kept it going for years. And I'm not an insecure or jealous person, but it created...
So the first thing we have here, because I'm going to write this down, is her ex lied about women coming on to him, presumably the women that we showed here in the thumbnail. And by the way, it could be other people, but here was a photo of that producer with the latest season of Zach's season of The Bachelorette, which again, this doesn't mean these women were involved whatsoever. We don't know who were the women that were involved, because obviously it sounds like they were the victims too. It doesn't sound like there was anyone who did anything bad but him. I'm just trying to make it very clear here that we're all on the same page. But that's the first thing that like kind of was his first, I guess, big red flag.
An insecurity in me, and it made me uncomfortable whenever he was around these people, when normally I wouldn't give a shit. And he would tell me little stories like that all the time, and now I'm just like, wow, so none of them are probably real. And the detail he gave, like, he literally described the size of these women's freaking nipples. So that really pissed me off. And when I texted him about it, and the other girls, or one of them, messaged him too, he went and blocked all of us and blocked them from social media. So he came back that night to the house, and I was trying to ask him about it, and it escalated. He tried to go through my iPad. I won't get into it, all the details, but he was arrested on domestic violence charges. Then that was done. The next day or the following day, I don't really know, a couple days later, I was upstairs and I was cleaning things out, going through everything, trying to like get all his stuff in a box and stuff. And then I was under the bed and I found this stack of papers. And on top of the stack was like old notes I had written him that he saved. And for a second I was like, oh, maybe I was too hard on him. Like, he's struggling, he's this, he's that. Like, you know, he's so nice. And then underneath the notes, I see a stack of papers. And on top of the first page, it says secrets. And I start reading it, and there's 100 pages. All of it consists depicting rape, violence. I'm not even like emotional about it anymore, honestly. I'm just fucking numb. Just the most disgusting things I've ever read in my entire life, and 100 pages of it, and all in his handwriting. Doing things with women without their consent, and inviting his friends to do it, taking videotapes of it, taking photos of it. It's horrifying. I can't believe I was in a relationship with this person. I feel like I was living with the fucking devil for years of my life. And yeah, so he found out that I found those papers, and he came over here with a police escort. And his friend told me I'm fat and look like Jabba the Hutt, and that I look like shit. And I'm like, well, yeah, I do look like fucking shit. I haven't eaten in 5 fucking days or done anything, because I'm sick to my stomach that this is who you are.
So the pages she's referencing here, 100 pages of violence and disgusting actions. She said, the most disgusting things I've ever read in my life. And then a comment said, it looks like you found his 4th step moral inventory for recovery. The 12-step program, the 4th step is moral inventory. You go through these steps to recover. She had mentioned he was in rehab. We can assume or make the assumption that it might have been a 12-step program. Moral inventory is an exercise used in addiction recovery programs where individuals examine their past actions to understand why they made certain decisions or behaved in specific ways while using substances. Now, it's important that we continue to operate on the idea of innocent until proven guilty, but also operate under the idea of believing what this woman has to say. So I'm sure there's going to be more information that comes up from this, but no amount of her sharing her story should be sort of silenced because of how damaging it is. It's like, this is the person, the beast that she's realizing she lived with.
I'm sick to my stomach. And I asked him to explain, and he couldn't, and he wouldn't. And I'm just like, if you could show some sign of remorse, some sign that you regret the things you did, this whole scenario would look a lot different. But you can't even say that you regret it or that you're sorry that you did it. Like, and there's only so many excuses you can give a person. I get it, you have a disease, but you know, if Ted Bundy was an addict, would we excuse him for all the murders that he did? Like, this man continuously, I can't even say it. It's just so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And I just don't know what you can do. Like, I turned it over to the police. I don't know. Like, it doesn't even sound like he was even fucked up for a lot of these stories. And a lot of the things he did and a lot of the stories I heard took place while he was sober. So it has nothing even to do with that. That's not even an excuse. I don't know what it is. And he doesn't even care. But it's not my business anymore, and I'm done. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Unless there's a funny story. But it's not going to have anything to do with that.
I'll tell you what, you guys know I'm the first person when we have sort of a new cast member and a TikToker comes out and says, this person dumped me on a Ferris wheel or whatever, and we call bullshit, right? This is a clearly heavy topic, and this is someone who is a professional. You know, she's a producer, she's a writer, she's all these things. She's not just a random person online trying to find clout. She's sharing her story, which is cathartic in her own way, because she is, of course, completely blindsided to this man she probably thought she was either going to marry or, you know, they shared a home with. Like that's such a personal bond, and then you find out, oh my gosh, this was literally under my bed.
I can't even believe I was in a relationship with this person.
There it is. And then you could read the comments, and then there she is, Alana Noel. Got a good following, producer and writer, cooking things up in my head. And yeah, there she is. I mean, it's taking off, 133,000 views and counting. She has other TikToks where she talked about her boyfriend going to rehab. You know, obviously her boyfriend at the time, now ex-boyfriend. It's a heavy topic on a Friday. It's a heavy topic any day of the week. But we report on the contents and the news around the world of The Bachelor. And this is one of those stories. I'm sure there will be more that comes out. Usually when someone gets exposed like this man right here, and I haven't blurred out because I don't know, I don't want to get sued. I don't know. It's like these are her allegations, you know, all that jazz. I just have to be careful here. But usually if someone is like a dark force, a bad actor, someone who's got a lot of skeletons, that people will start sharing their stories, and we'll have to see if anything comes from this. We'll have more content for you guys right after this.